Hi, I'm Carol Andrews for another episode of Southwest TV News. Here are some of the stories coming up on today's show. The Chinook School Division hosted its annual general meeting this week in Swift Current, spotlighting the 2012-13 school year. Marvin Allen is a retired immigration officer from the Neville area. He took the opportunity during the question period to voice his concerns over the growing Mexican Mennonite community and their children's education. After 45 years of working in the community and leading the Swift Current Allied Arts Council, Paul Rezansoff is moving on. Thanks for joining us here today. The 2012-13 school year was another success for the Chinook School Division, and the details were outlined at their recent AGM. The Chinook School Division hosted its annual general meeting this week in Swift Current, spotlighting the 2012-13 school year. This included a breakdown of the financials by the Director of Finance, outlining revenues of $96.7 million, expenses of $84.5 million, and a surplus of close to $3.5 million. And on the programming side, Chinook students boasted improved grade scores in the Math Momentum and Balanced Literacy programs, and higher overall grade scores in the Southwest when compared to the provincial average. Achievements which the Director of Education hopes to build on in the coming years.
On our Math Momentum, the goal was 25% over 4 years. We're 18% improved in 2, and we're on target to maybe meet that 25% goal in 3 years, so it would be a year ahead of time. And then we would move into how do we now go into sort of that maintenance program so that we don't lose the gains that we've had.
And with the recent provincial budget numbers announced for education for the 2014-15 school year, Chinook will receive $81.34 million, a minimal increase from the previous year, which Chufu says the division still has to fully realize as to how it will impact their upcoming budget deliberations while maintaining quality educational services.
I don't think it's going to hinder a lot of our major directions. Math Momentum, Balanced Literacy, those are key priorities. We're going to continue moving there. I think what it's going to force us to do is we've been pretty lucky. We have done belt tightening in the past, and as a result of making some tough decisions that way, it has set us up fairly well in terms of our operating budgets. But as we continually have very small increases or even decreases, obviously we're not keeping up with inflationary costs. So it's putting us in a more difficult position. And so each time that happens, we have to look more closely at whether we can still offer the same level of service and programming.
He further adds the Chinook School Division will continue to have a busy year ahead, from the opening of the new school in Swift Current to ongoing maintenance of facilities across the region.
Our facilities department is stretched to the max right now. We're trying to oversee the new school building at Cole Centennial. We're overseeing the renovation at Fairview. We will soon be retrofitting Irwin and Central. In the meantime, not ignoring the 29, I shouldn't say 29, but the 20-plus rural schools that we have outside of Swift Current provide regular maintenance and scheduling. We've got a major project up in Leader that's been a bit of a challenge as we replace the roof up there.
The Chinook School Division is the second largest in the province, which includes approximately 6,100 students, 33 public schools, 30 Hatarian schools, and spanning 40,000 square kilometers across the Southwest. Ensuring education is available for all youth in the Southwest is the concern of one Neville area resident. We have more in this report. The southwest corner of the province has seen an influx of newcomers to the region over the past several years. And along with integration into the community through employment and other social avenues comes the area of education. Marvin Allen is a retired immigration officer from the Neville area and recently attended the AGM for the Chinook School Division. He took the opportunity during the question period to voice his concerns over the growing Mexican Mennonite community and their children's education.
And what I'm noticing over the last number of years, not just recently, but over the last several years, many of their children are not attending school at all. They're not learning English. They're not integrated into our communities at all. And so the Chinook School Board claims that they're interested in education for all. But in actual fact, they're not proactive in this area.
Overall concerns, which representatives of the Chinook School Division listen to closely and say they've already been addressing in some fashion.
I would suggest that is certainly not something that caught us off guard in terms of the fact that there are Mexican Mennonites within the borders of Chinook, and we are working with them. I know there's concerns from communities themselves as to how well integrated these folks are into the community. We do our very best. There's not a lot legislatively that we can do. If they choose to register as homeschoolers, they have the right to do that. If they choose to come to our buildings, we certainly welcome them. I know that Jan has done a lot of work on an individual family basis with all of the families around Pontex.
And despite the response given by the school division, Allen says his concerns stem not only from the integration of these families and their children into the area communities, but also the legal side of children having the opportunity for education.
But it's the law. Okay, the law of the land says children between 7 and 16 must be in school. So to say it's a difficult problem is not good enough.
The reality is the legislation in this area is a little archaic. A $100 fine is not going to scare anybody. And if we were to push it to the nth degree so it went to court, the judge would laugh us out of court for taking up all this. He would say, figure it out, right? And so that's what we need to do. And fortunately, we're getting commitments from some of the other human service groups to help us with that. So the truancy issue, I think, is one that we can't not pay attention to. And so if it means some door knocks from RCMP or those kinds of things, then maybe that's what we need to do in those cases.
And as the discussion of this topic will likely continue well into the future, the Chinook School Division maintains it does provide an educational opportunity for every child, and is proud of its success rate with the 30 Hatarian schools already in place in the Southwest. A key individual in the Swift Current arts community is moving on. We have more in this report.
Say to Mayor Schaefer and City Council, the sky is the limit.
After 45 years of working in the community and leading the Swift Current Allied Arts Council, Paul Rezansoff is moving on. The desire to be close to family is drawing he and his wife to Ottawa. Paul Rezansoff grew up in Kamsack and is a former visual arts teacher who moved to Swift Current in 1969 for a teaching job at the Cobb High School. And with an obvious passion for the arts, he expanded his footprint in the community through the Swift Current Allied Arts Council.
My first interest was visual arts, and I was involved with the gallery and this sort of thing. And then it got in. Some people were suggesting I was spending too much time with visual arts, and visual arts was the only important thing on my agenda, supposedly. So I switched to, in '74, I switched to chairing the Performing Arts Committee, and went from there.
And what a history it has been, from the development of an art gallery, over 400 performances of the 45th Annual Stars for Saskatchewan series, and the reality of a new performing arts facility through the construction of the new Living Sky Casino. And the opening of the Sky Center is close to his heart, when the Von Trapp children took to the stage for the first performance in February of 2009.
Well, yeah, it was sort of an achievement. We had to We had always been pushing for a dedicated facility for the arts, and when the opportunity came around that there was a possibility of getting a performing arts center attached to the casino, we had to make a choice as to whether we supported it or not. Well, yes, the Sky Center stage took it to the next level. It has equipment, it has the electronics, state-of-the-art sound system and everything else, and of course you could see and you can hear, and you have comfortable seating in the process, and so that took it a step further.
Achievements over the years which have enriched the lives of many in the community, while inspiring others with their own dreams.
I remember Paul saying to me, quite a number of years ago, we were having a discussion about the arts, and I know that some people don't necessarily support it or think that it's important to a community. And Paul said something to me that I'll never forget. He says, if you don't think arts is important, ask the city of New York.
The greatest impact that he had on me as a teacher was helping me to become a better leader, because giving back to your community is a big thing for me. And obviously, I've learned over the years in my time on City Council the tremendous importance arts and culture are, and not only building your community, but having a really well-rounded community as well.
And for those who work on a daily basis in the arts and culture industry, Rezansoff has left them with a lasting impression of admiration and gratitude.
This gallery has been very important to arts and arts education in Swift Current and the Swift Current area, and has really over the years served as a kind of a cornerstone facility for the arts in the community.
Oh, I think Paul brought entertainment to Swift Current that was never going to come any other way. I think he's been instrumental in making sure that we all had music in our lives. I think he's done great things for this community that we wouldn't have been able to do without him, so he's been invaluable to us.
And as he reflects on past memories while looking ahead to the future, Paul Rezansoff leaves Swift Current with these final words.
It's been a grand experiment, as I often refer to it. Thank you for the opportunity, and may you go on to bigger and better things.
Paul Rezansoff is a member of the Order of Canada and has received the Queen's Silver, Golden, and Diamond Jubilee medals, along with the Saskatchewan Volunteer Medal.
I declare the Mexican Casino open on behalf of the
Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at mylocaltv.ca. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.